It's time for the Film Crickets with Jay Fortier, Chris Martineau, and Melanie Howerton. On this week's episode, our good friend Tad Lemire is back on the show.
This man is totally insane.
And helps kick off the Christmas season by reviewing the 1996 American Christmas family comedy film, Jingle All the Way. Does it stand the test of time? Let's find out. Your Film Crickets are on now.
All right. Hey, friends, and welcome to the Film Crickets. It's a podcast where we talk about movies from 1980 to 1999 and decide, beyond a shadow of a doubt, whether or not these movies stand the test of time. And I am your co-host, Jay Fortier, along with my good friend, Chris Martineau.
Hello, y'all.
Hey, welcome.
Hey.
And we also have my good friend and co-host, Melanie Howerton.
I'll be like Chris today. Hello, y'all.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Well, you are from Georgia. And speaking of Georgia, we have, once again, from B98.5 in Atlanta, we have a good friend of the show, and we love having him on. It is Tad Lemire. Welcome, man.
Happy holidays, guys.
Why? Thank you, Tad.
I know,
Yeah.
so you guys are up in the Northeast, and Melanie is in Georgia. And after the last time, I wanted to ask Melanie, what do you think of the show?
It's a great show.
Oh, it's a great show. I love it. Every day. Who's on the show besides
I follow
me?
you on Facebook, and I try to follow the show as well on some of the podcasts that you have. But as far as the radio goes, you're like every single time that I turn it on, you're not there. Like literally, you're not. It's either music or it's a girl, but it's never you. I never hear you on the radio.
Melanie sleeps
So I've tried. You can ask Jay.
You
I've
sleep
tried
in.
on the way.
It's the white wine, Melanie. Get up before 9.
I am. I'm on the way to work. I'm driving. I put you on the way to work. And I'm driving probably about between like 8:15, 8:30-ish. But I don't hear you. So it's usually like music or something. I have like, I don't ever hear your voice. But
I guarantee, guys, she's listening to the wrong damn station.
No, I'm not.
She's like, I never hear your voice. I listen to 99X all the way to work, and I never hear your voice. It's the craziest thing.
It's the right channel. You're just doing a good job, and you're putting music on, so I don't hear you.
Yeah, good.
Wow, he's working hard. that on-air personality is working so hard you never hear him.
Yeah,
he's just always in behind the scenes. Fantastic.
But no, I follow him on Facebook and everything too.
Oh, that's sweet of you. We've come a long
And
way.
Instagram.
We've come so far. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tad, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe on Facebook you often will you do post adorable pictures of your family, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
correct?
that's my wheelhouse. Yeah. Right. That's my main thing. Yeah.
That is adorable.
Give the people what they want. Thank you.
And they're all and they're on the young side. Right, there's no teenagers involved. No.
And you are not. And I was
no.
just
Jesus Christ, Dad. No, what I'm saying is that this movie, Jingle All the Way, that we're going to talk about, is kind of in the wheelhouse of the dad and young kid relationship, like that dynamic.
Right.
That some of us are still in, some of us are out of. So I'm going to look for that perspective when we talk about this movie. But I also wanted to give you a compliment, is that your family's adorable. So that's all.
Oh, thank you.
No, I'm serious.
My wife has great genes.
I do too. They're in the laundry. But that's okay. And I don't mean my pants. No, I'm kidding. So guys, we watched Jingle All the Way, and if you don't mind, I'd like to go around the horn real quick. When was the last time you saw this movie? What's your relationship with this movie? Not if you liked it, but just kind of when was the last time you saw it? Is it one of your favorites? You watch it every year? This is the holiday season and all. We kind of usually have a movie that we always watch every year. So is this one of them? So let me start with my oldest and dearest friend here, Jason. Jay, what's your deal, man? What's your deal with this movie? I think we have one connection with this movie, right? You and I?
Well, we... no, I had it, and I brought it into the store.
That's it. Okay, I thought so. All right.
Yeah, that's how you are familiar with it. Yeah. No, I bought it like on video cassette back in the day. I liked it. I wasn't supposed to say that yet.
That's all right. Whatever.
No, but
start over. This is bullshit.
Yeah. No, we watched it on video back then and enjoyed it. We get a kick out of it, and I'll go over plenty of reasons why. And So it'll be Welcome to Thunderdome.
Can I ask?
Because
I see.
you dictated how you felt about it before the show started. How you hated it so much. So go ahead, Tad.
No, I was just going to ask. You say you brought it into the store. Did you guys work together at a video store?
Yes. Sorry. Yeah. My bad. Yeah. We worked at a store called the Red Sox Clubhouse, which sold basically team paraphernalia, all like not just Red Sox. It was football and basketball and many different places other than Boston. There was a lot of different teams, we even then ended up with a Mark Chimura.
Yes.
Which is really, if you look back at history, it's like, ooh, that's a bad jersey right there.
We brought it in at
clearly
Christmas.
You had a lot of customers, right? If you were watching Jingle All the Way.
Well, it was more like
No.
it was background like stuff. Like we had a VCR that hooked up to TVs, and we were supposed to play like sports videos, like here we go. Mookie Betts gonna get the double play off a second, like that, like highlight movies. But during we had a manager who like let's put in Christmas movies. So he kept playing. I think Christmas Story was his high rotation one. He just kept playing it. And we'd rewind it and play it and rewind it because you didn't really hear it much. It was just on in the background. I think that was it, or maybe I don't know. It was something else.
It was a lot of Charlie Brown. It was a lot of Rudolph.
Yeah.
And it was like we would just rotate them. We just rotate them like over and over. And sometimes when the Linus and Lucy song came on, he'd crank up the volume so everybody was like,
wow,
you can't help
what
it.
a creeper.
So it was a lot of fun.
Kidding.
Wow.
My favorite thing, though, I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but like a bar after hours playing gangster movies, like I love that. That's just a great scene. I don't know about a sports memorabilia store.
All right.
I like a good after hours at a bar playing like The Godfather or Scarface, something like that.
I've never experienced that.
Especially around the holidays.
I haven't either.
Around the holidays? Jesus Christ.
I haven't either because my friend used to work at a bar. She was a bartender, but we just always would play pool or have music or something after hours, never a movie. So I've never heard of that.
All right.
Well, I think I probably lasted till the after hours.
God.
Right? Like
after
around
party.
4 a.m., that's when the gangster movies come on.
The after
Okay.
party. So
Well, I like the gangster movies.
Yeah. I have what they call a bit of a drinking problem.
no, stop it.
What about the guy that was on your podcast? I caught a clip and he was like, he's like rambling on and he goes, guys, I'm a little stoned, I'm going to be honest. Who is that guy?
Me and
was
Chris
like, I
would
didn't-
die.
I know.
Ben Glee.
I didn't know, like,
He was pretty cool though.
illicit drugs are allowed on the podcast. I like it.
Whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sure.
A little
That's
mess
cool.
here and there just adds a little spice to the conversation.
He wasn't doing it on air, I guess. I don't know. It's legal where he is in
It's
California.
legal there, yeah, exactly.
So it's all good.
Exactly.
Ted, where
Here
are you
in
with this?
Georgia, people would come through my skylights.
Hey, what the hell? What are you doing there? I saw a light.
Yeah.
So,
Herschel Walker himself would break through my skylights.
Oh my God! Seriously.
okay. Tad, where are you with this movie? What's your history?
So this movie and I go way back to Monday.
All right.
Monday.
All right.
Yeah. I watched it for the podcast because I like watching. Like, what I want to make sure I don't say too much too soon. But unlike we've done Coen Brothers movies largely, and we did Home Alone last year, and so I just wanted a movie that was really poorly rated. And that I didn't have to think too much. I've never seen, and it checked all the boxes.
Yep. All right.
Is it poorly rated, you guys? Is it? I didn't even check.
Yeah.
It's like a 23 on Rotten Tomatoes. I think. I figured you were like aren't you the sort of the
trivia
researcher
one? I
of the
didn't even
group?
check that. Yeah, I didn't even check to see what the ratings were on it. I have trivia, but I didn't check that.
Cool. All right. So Melanie, tell me about your history with this.
Okay,
with this
well,
film.
just looking at the trivia, I see right here that it was a world premiere was in 1996. I did not know this movie was that old because, I mean, I guess it had to have been because of Phil in the movie, but I don't ever remember seeing it back then at all. I just always remembered. I feel like it's like a newer movie for me. I don't know why.
Okay.
Like, I feel like I didn't even watch it until I was like maybe in this house. I don't know. I just don't remember watching it when I was younger at all.
But you knew it existed. You knew it was around.
I didn't know it existed
Oh, wow.
until
All right,
like
all right.
not that long ago. I really don't remember the first time I saw it. I feel like it's more like, to me, like a recent movie over the last few years. I don't know.
All right.
And it's on all the time for Christmas, and I watch it when it's on. I really didn't even realize. I mean, obviously the way Arnold looks and Phil Hartman's in it, you'd think,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it's an older movie. I just didn't even realize it because I don't remember it all until recently.
All right, cool. So I will say that I only ever sat through this movie yesterday in 2 parts, and both at school. Once before students came in, and once during my prep period. So I gave up grading to watch this film for a little bit. That's okay. I don't mind. It's the only time I had to do it. And before that, I know it was on at the Red Sox clubhouse. I can't tell you I paid attention to it much. When we were working together, it was usually during Christmas. It was like back in the day when, I don't know what retail is like now at the mall. Back in the day, it was like out of control. And so not a lot happened that besides ringing in, helping customers, so on and so forth. I do know, I remember when it came out. I remember the critics not liking it very much. But past that, I didn't have much of an opinion on it. I had no desire to actually watch it. Probably because of that I saw it. It reminds me of working at the mall, and that a lot of people didn't necessarily latch onto it. But I know it's on, but I don't. I'd rather go for other Christmas films. So I watched it, and so anyhow, so let's get into the movie, guys. I'm ready to talk about
It's
it.
amazing. You didn't want us sharing our opinion, but your opinion of this movie is just dripping through every.
No, hey now.
You're like, it was on.
Yeah.
I think I walked by the screen a couple of times.
I may have thrown up in my mouth a little, not a lot, just a little vomit burp, not a big deal. All right, so let's. Do we have a breakdown or no?
No.
Jay? No. Okay.
Does it require any breakdown? Is that what I'm picking up?
No, we do. I was always doing this thing with my having my son read the IMDb one sentence breakdown because he's only 7, so it's kind of funny to hear him say stuff like when a gang of criminals decided to come, it's kind of funny to hear him say some of those things. Sometimes I'm like, whoa, totally inappropriate. I can't have you read this one. No, but
All right.
we are as a family finally getting rid of our unwelcome house guest, influenza. We didn't ask for him to show
all right.
up.
I'm like, dude, do you have ice? What do you-
No, but it's like Wendy got it first, my wife, and then it was like, hey, Clark, that's the gift that keeps on giving all year long.
Yep.
So it's been a rough
No
week.
doubt.
So this is the last place I wanted to be with my son, reading from a computer.
Right.
So, all right. So yeah, you can do it.
Fair enough. All right, here we go. So, according to IMDb, Jingle All the Way came out in 1996. Rated PG, coming in an hour and 29 minutes. According to IMDb, the sentence can be summarized as follows. A father vows to get his son a Turbo Man action figure for Christmas. However, every store is sold out, and he must travel all over town and compete with everybody else in order to find one. Director is Brian Levant. Writer Randy Kornfield, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sinbad, Phil Hartman, R.I.P., Rita Wilson, Robert Conrad, Martin Mull, Jake Lloyd. Jake Lloyd. Martin Mull, I said that already. Jim Belushi, Harvey Korman, oh my God, Richard Mall. A lot of people in this movie. I have no gripe with really the casting or the actors. I think it was casted very well. But now we need to get into Jingle All the Way. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. Now look, as Tad has already kind of clued in, my opinion on this has kind of been on my sleeve, and it is usually my vibe. I kind of, I'm big on Schadenfreude, right? I like to glom onto the things that I don't like. I think talking about, when you talk about your vacation, you talk about the bad things that happen because it's a more interesting story than the good things that happen. So I know I'm a bit of a sourpuss. I'm not really. I'm a very jovial guy.
What?
I like good things, and I will say that. What?
No, we're gonna start calling you Mikey. From the Life cereal commercial, because they go, he won't eat it. He hates everything.
He hates.
Yeah,
everything.
well, I will tell
don't
you,
hate everything.
it also makes it. He makes it interesting because of that. He makes it interesting because it also, I would have been a hell of a lot worse with Red Dawn than he was. So you're lucky I wasn't on
There
that
you
show.
go. Perfect. So, shit. So anyhow,
What do you say?
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say he
What?
actually liked it, kind of.
Yeah.
You
I
were
hated it.
pleasant about. No, I mean.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. I was pleasant, unlike what's about to happen now. No, here's the thing. It's not a bad Christmas movie. In and of itself, it's fine, right? I'm not going to complain like, no one, how can you possibly like it? Here's my thing. Arnold Schwarzenegger acts better than this most of the time.
I will agree. I did realize
And I
that's
think
bad acting from him.
He was driving me crazy this entire movie. He's good in Kindergarten Cop. He's good. Let's talk about him. Like action heroes went from, there was this time when if you're an action hero, you did action, and then you went to family comedy for a little while, and then you went back to action. And now we're in Schwarzenegger's fallow period of comedy, of big time family comedy. Kindergarten Cop is super. Twins is super. Here's my problem with this movie. He's acting like the kindergarten teacher from Kindergarten Cop all the time in this movie, and I can't get that tone out of my head. He's always, no, I can't believe it. No, tell me what you want. And it drove me.
No, listen,
Anybody else? Emily,
I felt the
you're
same
saying he was
thing,
terrible.
but I think it's his accent sometimes that makes him sound just kind of stupid sometimes. Like he kind of sounds more childlike because of his accent when he's trying to pronounce certain things. But I mean, I love Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I got what you were saying because I was thinking the same thing. But I was thinking the same thing. The acting from him wasn't good, but I think it's because of his accent. I think that's why I think it's just the way he talks sometimes that
Was
just
he
sounded
from
more
Austria?
kid-like.
He's from Austria, right?
I think he is, yeah. And he
Yes.
didn't speak one word of English when he came here, not one word of it.
Right.
Not
So
one
instead of
word.
celebrating,
But this is 90s.
instead
No.
of celebrating how far he's come from not being able to speak a lick of English, Melanie is attacking him for sounding stupid for being Austrian and is about to get canceled. You're about to get canceled by the Austrians.
Tad, shut up. So I love Arnold Schwarzenegger. I love him. In fact, as far as and this doesn't have anything to do with the movie, but his bodybuilding days, I literally don't think anybody back then had a better body than he did. He worked so hard at it. I follow him all the time on workouts and what he ate and how strict he was. He was literally amazing. He had the best stomach of any bodybuilder I've ever seen.
We have now found
Yeah.
a
No,
Mel's
literally, he's
He's
amazing.
not a
I think he's
Now
amazing.
found.
Melanie. He's a human being with a
I
brain.
know, I feel so
I'm
I'm talking
objectified.
about
This
work
is
it out.
crazy.
I can't believe
I literally
it.
I love his workout ethic and everything that he had. So I totally appreciate him, but I think that sometimes when he's acting, it's the accent that makes you think that he's not a good actor, but he really is. I think it's just the accent that's making him sound like he's not maybe doing a good job in some things, like you were saying, because I did notice that, but I think it's the accent.
Okay.
Because I don't know. I'm trying to,
Well.
you know what I'm trying to say?
I
You're
think what
making
you're
me
trying to
turn
say
redder.
is.
Oh, we're picking up what you're throwing.
No.
down.
Look, I think absolutely. I think what you're trying to say is you, like I, enjoy thinking about bouncing quarters off of his
Well, not
pectoral
anymore.
muscle. So
They don't like
the
the game anymore.
I know he's a
He
flabby
has a
boy
vacuum
now.
stomach.
So
he got the vacuum stomach. He would teach people how to do the vacuum stomach. Look it up.
What
Look it up.
is
I'm
that?
telling
right.
you.
Yeah, listen. Come on.
Making a
I
note
don't
here,
want to
'cause
know.
I think,
It sounds again
I think,
fetishistic.
I'm so close that the vacuum stomach will probably put me right where
Yeah.
I need to be.
Absolutely. Or that little electric pad you'd put on to shock your abdomens into shape.
Yes.
Remember that shit? You shock yourself skinny. So, but past that, I mean, his character is so. First of all, his slapstick drives me crazy because everything was his eyes were wide open all the time whenever he was trying to do slapstick. So again, and Dick, the thing is, he acts better than this. Kindergarten Cop, he had slapstick he had to do, but he always looked like he was just laying it on too thick. Like he was talking to us, like he was talking to Jake Lloyd, his son who's like 6. He's trying to convince us he's a good guy. Now I'm not saying he's not a good guy, but it's just I just couldn't get past how saccharine he was being the whole time, except when he was punching a reindeer. But and giving booze to a reindeer. Besides that,
enough that it doesn't it wasn't like you're gonna get PETA all mad, because it was like. Because then they do a thing with they're sitting together going, yeah, you started it. It was that type of play that it's not like, oh, he really beat the crap out of a reindeer.
Well, he looked so fake. Any freaking person with a brain would know that it wasn't real.
So let's go to the premise because
now watch me get canceled.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, anybody with a brain except PETA.
Why did you think the reindeer was real, Dad?
No, but I think that as much as I appreciate some of the work that PETA does, they are an organization that would. I'm sure if you did your research, you would find that they probably did make a stink about it.
Oh, maybe they did.
Back then, sure.
I'm just joking about it's not that bad. Where most of the people shouldn't be like, holy crap, he really beat the crap out of a reindeer.
What about Sinbad lying down, people are on top of him and he's yelling, Rodney King, Rodney King.
Right.
Those things kind of stuck out when you're watching it from the lens of does this movie hold up? You're like, would these things pass in 2022? I know that's kind of like on a sort of micro scale, but no, it wouldn't.
Sure.
And that's what made it funny.
No,
I laughed so hard when he started saying Rodney King. I was like,
because he's also saying it in such a funny way too. As he's, by the way, I adore that scene. The whole thing, especially where it begins, is that they get a tip that there's a bunch of Turbo Men. Now let's go back real quick before I get to that. Let's start to just make sure people understand the base of this is based on a real phenomenon that happened first off in the early 80s, 1983, when the Cabbage Patch Kids were the hot toy and everybody was going nuts. Then a little later, in the early 90s, Tickle Me Elmo. And then, obviously, so those things actually happened where people were just going nuts. And
Morphin Power Rangers, too. Morphin Power Rangers, too.
Well, where people were chasing each other, though? For the Power Rangers?
No, violent. They literally mentioned those things. Okay. Yeah.
Just to put it into perspective, though, basically it's about, trying to get your hands on something that is super sought after, that is sold out. Let me just put it into 2021 terms, toilet paper.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, I was there. I did not stock up like everybody else. I was sitting around trying to find Kleenex boxes because I was like, there's got to be something we can use. Why didn't we stock up like everybody else did? There's nothing in our house.
But also, so this idea hasn't necessarily gone away, that the Turbo Man, and God, you can't say Turbo Man without wanting to say Turbo Man.
It's turbo time.
It just sounds so stupid when you guys say it.
I know. It's almost like it's almost like I just learned English. It's like I'm some person from Austria or something.
10 years trying to learn English.
I know, it's crazy, but so at its core, here's the thing: is it a movie about? And here I am getting all stupid and philosophical. But is it a movie about rampant commercialism? Right? Is it the end of the Charlie Brown Christmas? Even My Dog Has Gone Commercial, where people it's not about the season, it's about getting 100%. That thing.
That's exactly what it's about. 100%.
Right. Or, but then this is where I get confused. Or is it about a father who says the only way to, his son says he wants a thing, Okay, which kids want. I mean, I'm not taking that away from kids. All kids want a thing. That's all they associate with. But father who's, again, so allegedly neglecting them, not necessarily. He's just doing his job, but whatever. He's got a guilt trip. He's got a guilt trip laid on him by his family that he's not around enough, even though, you have a job to do. That's your job. But whatever. He feels bad about it.
I love it.
And so what we have is somebody that's willing to do all of that to prove that they're that you're not a good dad unless you go try to get this thing. And dad buys it like hook, line, and sinker. It's like that. Remember that McDonald's commercial? Commercials? And like the kid comes out and says it was show and tell. It's like, here's my dad, whatever. And then afterwards they go to McDonald's. So like, if your dad loves you, he'll take you to McDonald's. If your dad loves you, he'll get you a Turbo Man. When at the fact of the matter, I'm just saying, like,
McDonald's didn't actually say that. You said that.
But
they were saying that, like throughout the message. Not were they saying if your dad loves you? Oh, right. Yeah.
But that's kind of the message. It's the message. It's no. It's not on the bottom.
I think she thought. I think she thought that you said that. Said, if your father loves you, he'll take you.
No, like, what did the commercial really say? Did the commercial really say that?
No.
Oh, okay. I was like, wow.
But let's not just glaze over the fact that how apologetic Chris is being for guys. He's like, it's not like, I mean, it's not like he's a bad father. He doesn't spend any time with his kid, but he's out there slaying the dragon, trying to earn a buck for his family. I mean, for God's sake, can't we ever catch a break?
Wait a minute. What? Wait a minute. So the fact of the matter is, I get what you're saying. I understand that you should be there for their kid, and maybe that's where he is right there. But the fact of the matter is, like, he's trying to earn his child's love with this toy that he says he wants. It's impossible to get.
The reason but the reason behind that is because the wife had said, "Oh, you got him that, right?" And he forgot to get it for him. So it wouldn't have been this huge thing that he's trying to win his son's love. It was just something that she had told him, this is what he wants, you go get it. Yep. And of course, because he's working and he just forgot about it, now he wants to go get it and there isn't any left. So
let's
it's
also
not just
point
about
out
winning his love. It's the point that he forgot to get something and now it's sold out because he forgot to get it. Who hasn't been there?
Right.
Well, I just don't get it.
Though.
You know what? The man is trying to earn a buck for his family, right, Chris? And I mean, if he forgot, if Turbo Man slipped through the cracks, I mean, so be it. Did you enjoy your dinner? Do you like the flat screen TV that you were able to watch this movie on, kid? Come on. Cut Dad some slack.
Yeah, would you shut your mouth?
Guys, don't ask him to do it. Don't ask him. Like, if a guy is so busy.
Me?
Don't ask Arnold.
Right. And is the wife not working?
He's so busy at work that he forgets that he's talking to his wife and says, "Remember, you're my number one customer." Liz, and she hangs up on him. All right, you don't ask that guy to remember to go get the special toy that's going to make the kid all happy. But then, then he blows off accidentally blows off the karate class because he gets pulled over, like type of thing. So he's late because he made himself late, by working too hard. I get that. But then, he never gets there. So he feels like combo, I got all these things against me and I didn't pick up the one thing that I was asked to pick up that I could have done it, back then and there would have been plenty. So, I'm just saying, don't ask him.
I'm thinking the same thing. Is she not working? Like, can she? Why would it's mostly a mom's thing that has to go through this shit. It's usually the moms that are doing this.
I mean, it's not a woman's job necessarily. I'm not making that argument. I'm just saying, like,
welcome to Family Dynamics. Welcome to Family Dynamics with the Film Crickets.
Half the time, the dads don't even know what the kids are unwrapping. I'm sorry, but they don't even know. They're just as surprised. The dads are just as surprised as the kids. Oh, what did you get? Because it's the fucking moms that are going out doing all the hard work, and they're just as surprised as the kids are. They don't know what you got the kids.
Is that okay that the dads don't know what their kid is getting?
To me, I don't even care because I want to get it done right, so I'm going to do it anyway.
That's so refreshing.
Yeah, there it is. And there it is. because we're gonna fuck it up anyway.
No, I
it's
just
I guess,
picture a pipe and a newspaper and like a dad peeking over. Very nice, you know. Like,
Well, that was the
Yeah, what'd you get?
50s, and this is
Okay.
the 90s. Isn't it interesting? Like, I was watching this movie delighted because I was like looking at my 7-year-old. I was like, yeah, Dad's not that bad, is he? I'm home at like 11 a.m. every day. I pick you up at school, right? Right? Daddy loves you, right? That's the 2022 version of fatherhood, right?
Yeah.
It's so, but in the 50s, people would be like, Dad's in the, like my dad, he'd be like, what the hell is this guy doing? Running around town trying to get this. Tell him it's not available and move on.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, at least I'm not like the
I don't know,
mom
it's-
from like Better Off Dead that just wraps up all like frozen dinners for everybody, you know, and then she makes something and she's like, you like raisins? It's raisins. You like raisins. You like meatloaf. You like potato. It's all frozen dinner.
so let's also talk about Phil Hartman. I mean, Phil Hartman is the next door neighbor that is in love with basically every woman in the neighborhood, but like really is obsessed with Arnold's wife. Because he can't really have her, so it's like one of those, like, you know, I gotta, you know, finally get this one that, you know, I keep working on, and he plays the ultimate dry, slick, you know, womanizing guy. Like, he plays it so well that I just love him. Like, I mean, like, it's like a hateable character, but you'll love him, like, you know, in it because he does it well.
He made me feel gross because he does such a good job at what he perceives to be Uber Dad. I'm at all the games. I know how to cook. I can decorate your house. I got reindeer for God's sakes for Christmas for my son because he's a divorced dad and he'll do anything. I'll do anything for you, son. So like that bit, but he's a predator. Like, he's kind of legit a predator. I mean, we're in a family movie, and a woman asks him to do something, and he says, I have the tools for the job. Like, he's obviously flirting and kind of being gross, and he does it in such a way that he's really drippingly gross. Like, deep down, he probably has a porn collection, but he's not going to tell you about it because he's going to put on this veneer of being super dad when he's really a predator. And it's good to see Rita Wilson kind of rebuff him at the end. I mean, I never once thought she was going to fall for that shit because she's a great, she's a very strong woman and a good actor. I mean, but boy, he made me feel.
But is
gross.
he a predator? I mean, a predator to me sounds like somebody who is like trying to get your kid. Like, he's just a single dad living next door to somebody whose husband is never around and he's single. So he thinks, well, maybe I have a chance with this girl. You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of guys would probably think that same way. Maybe not be so gross about it, but I think that like a lot of guys would, if he really had a crush on his next door neighbor and the husband was never around, maybe he thought he would have a chance. Predator to me is a strong word. It sounds more like
all right,
he's after your kid or something. You know what I mean? Like.
No, I think well, fine. I will retool that word and say that he is awfully strong and obviously makes a play to say, look, you don't want to be with him, you want to, and that's
well, it's a caricature.
Like, maybe not fine. I will
of that guy.
Yeah, I will cop to Predator in that it's a little too strong, but he's certainly gross. 100%.
But
he's gross.
I get it, but it's still funny. Because
of course,
every
woman wants a Ted, you know, and Teds exist in most relationships on much smaller levels. He's so overt with it, but that's what makes it funny. It's a caricature of that guy who's moving in on your lady.
Yeah.
Well, it's just,
but Ted doesn't exist. Ted does not exist. Right. This is a person that we think. Yeah. The persona. Ted is not a person. That's not a real person. Ted doesn't exist. So you can't ever get Ted. Because even if Ted, who plays Ted, is kind of scummy deep down. So even Ted's not Ted.
Are you saying Ted doesn't exist in the real world? Are you turning this into an M. Night Shyamalan whatever movie? Like maybe, Ted isn't real? Are we going to learn out?
Maybe.
Like, so you end of Fight Club and Ted isn't real?
Jingle.
Ted's in the Matrix, man. Ted is the red dress lady in the Matrix.
I gotta tell you guys,
she doesn't
real
exist,
quick about
man.
this. So my wife and I are always at odds about what is appropriate for what movies are appropriate for my son to watch. And since the PG rating, I don't know what year it went away, but they broke it down to PG-13. He's 7. And so, but it also, so we use Common Sense Media usually to determine whether or not a movie is appropriate. So I wanted to show my kid Free Willy, right? And she looked on Common Sense Media in front of him and goes, "Oh, it's not appropriate," right? So, but I overruled and I said, "No, we're watching. It's Free Willy. It's fine." Well, the whale comes out of the water fast. It scares him. He starts like overacting it because his mom didn't approve of it, and he knows that, so he's sort of playing up to her, very manipulative like that. So, but
kids are.
When it came to watching the Disney Plus version of the stage Hamilton with its adultery and its filthy language, that was okay. We didn't even need to because Jessica, my wife, loves that, right? So it's a double standard, and that's fine. So this movie was right on the cusp. He's 7. This movie was like 8 years old is what the Common Sense Media says. So we're watching this together, and the only time Phil Hartman's character is in there, and my son turns to me and goes, "Dad, what's going on with that guy? Like, what's he up to? Like, what's he doing?" And I go, "Hey, he's moving in on Arnold Schwarzenegger's old lady." And my wife is like,
Nice.
Don't say that. And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Well, facts is facts.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what's happening, man.
No, but it's like even just like at the beginning when they're at the karate class and he's filming it and she's sitting next to him, and then every woman in the neighborhood is around them, and they're like Ted, I just want to thank you for all that you did, and he's like, hey, and then all of a sudden, like, she's like, you being such a handyman. Another one comes over. You being such a handyman. I was hope you could look at my screen door. He's like, sure, Judy. I got just the tool for the job.
He was the great.
I know.
He's gross.
I get that, but that delivery, I love it. Because that's Phil Hartman's, like, it's Troy McClure. It's Troy McClure. It's just that, like he always did that. It's just like, and it's just, he pulls it off wonderfully. Like he's in the kitchen with her. He's like, come on, go ahead. Go get yourself a shower upstairs. Like, it's like we all see it happening right before us. And he's like, yeah, that's right. Sugar cookies, bake 10, 15 minutes till golden brown. And then the kids start, like, he burns his finger. Ah! He starts yelling at the kids. So there's the true guy. But he just pulls it off so brilliantly. Of course you're not supposed to like him, but you love him because he's Phil.
And I do. I absolutely
You don't
love
like Ted.
him.
You like Phil Hartman.
I love Phil Hartman, and I hate what happened to him. And I hate his ex-wife. I don't care if she's dead. She's horrible. I hate what happened to him.
I get sad every time I see him.
I love him. And he was in another movie with Sinbad, too, which is funny that they got to do another movie together. Yes, that was funny.
House Guest. Funny.
Yeah.
Loved
but
it.
I love Phil Hartman. And you do love to hate him. He's amazing. I love him.
So you bring up Sinbad, and to me, the gold star goes to Sinbad for the movie.
He was so
I think
funny.
he is, I think Sinbad is a great comedian. I think he is able to make us laugh. He's not a filthy comedian, which I kind of like. If you can, it's like Brian Regan. Like, you can make you laugh without having to curse a lot. Not that I need cursing to laugh, but he's very good at what he does. I think he played that role great. I think he was obviously a desperate person. Again, we have a family film here where he says that him and Arnold are having a conversation, and he says that my wife was having sex with everybody in the post office but me, and then also says that I have a bomb because every day there's a bomb at the post office. There's a lot of things not okay with that, but I liked watching him more than I love Phil Hartman. Not saying against it, but to me, Sinbad takes the gold star for the movie. I think he was I wanted to watch more Sinbad. I wanted to watch him do his thing more, and I wanted less of Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I wanted more of him because he was more fun to watch. He He was more genuine. I could deal with his thing more than what Arnold was attempting to do, though not successful.
No, I
He speaks
agree, I
clear
agree.
Anybody's
English.
thoughts?
That's another thing, right?
Yes, of
So,
course.
a lot
Yes,
of
can't forget
IQ
that.
points for
Learned it
that.
right here in the old America. Learned it in America. So therefore,
it's his facial expressions too that just kill you. Like
Yep.
it just cracks you up with his facial expressions. Like Sinbad is amazing. I've always loved him.
I like
Yep.
the whole
He was-
the story about the Johnny OMA one-man army gun that he wanted when he was a kid, and his father didn't get it for him. And then he makes a comparison. Hey, do you know that so-and-so guy that we're talking about? He's like, yeah, he's the CEO of this industry thing. Yeah, he's a billionaire. His father got him a Johnny OMA gun. Like,
Isn't Sinbad?
and
Somebody
then
said this-
Arnold pictures. Good.
Not to bring this down, but somebody said that Sinbad is like not well now. Have you seen any?
I think
like,
he's got a health scare.
he had like a stroke. or
Really?
something. I don't want to spread
Oh.
false rumors.
Oh
But
my god.
Yeah,
No,
I was
I
sad to hear
saw
that.
something too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw Sinbad. Sinbad was on Search for the Stars with Ed McMahon.
Oh, Star
Star
Search.
Search.
Remember that
Or is
show?
that yeah, Star Search.
The Star Search. He was a finalist. He didn't win. And then I saw him legit on a game show, not as a comedian.
As a contestant.
Like, it was just Sinbad. As a contestant, no one knew who he was yet. It was right after he lost Star Search. I'm like, oh, poor guy.
Well,
And
go
then
ahead.
he researched. And then he researched. And I'm like, oh, good.
Right, you watch him on Star
'Cause I
Search,
liked
and
him.
like
He was
not
good.
only did he not win Star Search, but he's so down on his luck.
Yeah.
He's on Press Your Luck Now, or Price
Yeah,
is
or
Right, trying to win
something
the
like Press Your
showcase to
Luck.
be able to furnish his.
No, he was.
Not even
Floor
tic tac
walk.
Serious. Tic-tac-toe. Press your
yeah,
luck.
he
Don't
did
tell
have a
me.
stroke. It says he suffered 2 years
Oh.
ago. This is recent. He suffered 2 years ago. He had a blood clot that traveled from his heart to his brain. So he's trying to recover from that.
I hope he has a good.
All right.
He's
Well,
trying to relearn how to
way
walk.
to
and everything.
really bring down the room, huh? Good job, Taddy.
He's doing a good
Good
job.
job.
Though.
So
He's
let-
recovering.
Yeah.
So let's talk how much we hate Jake Lloyd. He's
poor
terrible.
Jake Lloyd.
He's always been terrible.
Who?
And I don't. Jake Lloyd, the little boy. I don't give him grief for his work on Phantom Menace. That's fine. I think he get a rough shake because stupid fanboys give him a hard time. But he's a child actor, and child actors typically don't act
Was
well.
he Anakin?
Yeah.
He
Oh,
was
I didn't know
Anakin.
that. That's interesting.
Yeah, he's Anakin. So this is a few years, 3 years before Anakin, so even younger. Just as annoying in this movie as he is in Phantom Menace. 100%. Child actors drive me crazy. They aren't good, and he's not good in this, and he's just as annoying. So to come back from the Sinbad stroke conversation, let's talk about, again, Jake, I'm sure you're a wonderful person. Boy, didn't want to watch him. Didn't want to watch him at all.
Yeah.
Anybody?
No, I
Did you tolerate him or hate him?
no, I didn't
I
like
did not
him.
like him at
then,
all.
To be honest with you, I didn't really like him that much. You know what I mean? I don't hate him, but like I could also see him not being a good actor. Like the eye rolls and stuff like that. They just didn't look like natural in any way. The way he would do it, like because like when he was chosen to be Anakin, I was like, well, I don't see that being very good
Right,
either.
like, he's like, well, he earned that. But yeah.
No,
all
not
right.
that.
Now that's
one.
Hayden Christensen.
Not the older
That's not
one.
him?
He's the young. He's the child.
Not him.
Oh,
You know the little blonde boy?
She holds up a picture of Matthew McConaughey.
that is not him. That's not him.
So no, I had
here
two
he
things
is.
to say about this kid. Number one, I didn't even notice him. Oh
Yuck.
yeah, I didn't notice
I
him
didn't even
in this
notice him
movie because
either, really.
he was not like a main character. But my second point, Chris, is hello,
Yuck.
Annie. You talk about
Yuck.
child actors.
Yeah, I know.
There's an exception. Mm-hmm. Where Eileen, whatever her name is, that played Annie.
Oh yeah, the girl
Didn't you
that
think
was
she did a
good, yeah.
bang up job?
Which
Oh
Annie?
sure.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm
You hate
not saying across the
Who's the
board.
best child
not saying
actor? If you had to choose, is there any besides Annie?
I would say
The kid from
I'd say the
Sixth
guy.
Sense.
I'm
Oh,
absolutely
yeah.
Joel
100%
Osment.
yes.
Good.
Haley Joel Osment, and he's still a good actor.
And let's also throw in
Yep.
the guy who played Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe, when he was a kid. You know what I mean? What?
He wasn't great.
Well.
He wasn't great, but he's better than this
What
kid.
about Macaulay Culkin?
Yes.
Yeah, I
Very
like him.
Yeah.
Iffy, but yeah.
If he what?
No.
Yeah, he's all right. He's all right. He did pretty well.
Yeah.
He did pretty well. You didn't want to not watch him.
He was awesome in The Good Son.
This
You guys
kid-
remember The Good Son? It was
Oh,
so good.
God.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Oh my God, The
Yeah,
Good
we already
Son.
talked about this. We talked on a Tad episode. It was on a Tad
Yeah.
episode
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
we were
you're
talking
right.
about Home Alone,
I probably brought
and
it
then we
up.
were like, "Wow!" And then Tad, as we were joking about, because it was right after Home Alone 2 that he did The Good Son, and then I was like, "He did this," and then Tad said, "Yeah, he was like, hold my beer, Miley Cyrus." Let's go with. I like how after they're discussing how the father got the kid his an OMA gun and that made him a billionaire, and I did get one. So he goes, "Hey, sometimes things happen," and then all of a sudden he pictures a little Jake Lloyd in a male outfit drinking like old granddad.
Yes.
Here's to you,
That's
Dad. All right.
Yeah.
And then
That's kind of funny.
and then Martin Mull, you hear Martin Mull's voice say, "Hey, are you looking for a turbo, man? Are you tired of trying to get one?" He goes, and then the first person to name the 8 reindeer. It's like, why don't you just ask the first person to tell us what color the sky is on a cloudless day? It was like the easiest question, and people are like, Randy, Jermaine, no, sorry, wrong. Like hanging
They're
up
naming
on
the
everybody.
Jackson 5 people.
Right. And so they're beating each other up trying to get there. They're beating each other up in the studio, and then when he calls 911 and he says, "But did you guys actually think I had one here?" "No, you get a gift certificate." And it's like, what? That's not what you just said. You just said, "Are you tired of looking for one?" It's like a gift certificate does nothing for a child. Because it's Christmas Eve. If you won that thing and you get to give your son, here, check it out. You'll get one in a week or so.
I think it was funny that every store that they go to, everybody laughed at them. I'm looking for a Turbo Man. They're like, ha, 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 like every single store that they went
And
to.
that's why Tad was bummed out when he didn't get his jump jet from Pepsi.
What's that?
Oh, yeah, it's like a whole thing, yeah.
All right.
There's
That
like a
you could
commercial.
earn 7 million Pepsi points and you could earn a jump jet. And there was no disclaimer, so people are actually looking to get their jump jet.
Is that in real
Like a
life?
Harrier.
Apparently,
no
there's
kidding.
like a documentary on it.
I watched it. It's kind of boring, but
Yeah.
it's fun.
Oh, there's a documentary.
Hey, on
Oh,
on
have
this
you
guy.
ever seen?
Don't worry about that. Sorry.
But wait, there's a lot of documentaries out there, so I just want to run down a couple of them for you. But have you ever heard of the movie Hands on a Hard Body? It's about a.
Oh, I'm about to, though.
It's about.
Do tell.
In Texas, a radio station was giving away a hard body truck, and it was like a hands-on marathon where all the contestants had to have their hands on this truck. For the last person standing ended up getting the truck, but it was in Texas, and they would do all these interviews. It's hard to find, but if you can find it, it is actually, you wouldn't think a documentary about a radio contest would be good, but it is hysterical. A guy's like, the first thing I did when I got into this contest is I shut off the air. Because we got a heck of an air conditioner. Most people have a 2-ton air conditioner in their house. We got an 11-ton air conditioner we got when the Walmart shut down. I got a heck of a deal on it in Paris, Texas. And that's the kind of interviews that are, it's 2 hours of just it's kind, I might be geeking out a little bit, but it's awesome. And then the other, did you see the documentary about the intermittent windshield wipers? Like the guy who invented it and the patent was stolen. I think Greg Kinnear is in it. It's actually it's either a documentary or like a movie that's based on a true story. But put that in your Netflix queue, guys.
All right. Cool.
Maybe
I would
Doug
also
Palmieri can discuss it with you guys the next time he's on.
All right.
Or the guy who's
I
all
would
doped up, whatever.
Yeah. I would always
he was awesome.
I always recommend King of Kong. The guy that got the high score on Donkey Kong and his nemesis.
Oh, really?
That's
These two
never
nerds.
available for free.
Oh. What's that?
It's never available for free. It's like
I bought that shit.
Well, yeah, I know. But
I
it's
bought it on DVD, man.
One
so
was
good.
like on HBO Max or HBO. It was like a 8-parter, but it was really interesting. Was the one that they talked about how the McDonald's $1 million lot Monopoly game somebody knew where the ticket was going to
Oh
be.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
they were like basically telling people in their family, I'll give it to you and we can split it, type of thing. And you just pay the taxes. So it's like all these people, because they all had different names, right? So like it's like, my name may be 40er, but like my in-laws, so they'd give it to them, like other people would have it, and it was like all like
Dude.
nobody actually won it for
And
years.
to think,
No.
I
The
drove
FBI
around.
was involved.
Yeah, I spent half of a vacation. This is a true story. At Lake Winnipesaukee, driving around to different McDonald's, trying to get when Toy Story 4 came out. If you got all the pieces, it made an RV. They all connected into an RV, and my kid had to have them. And I swear to God, when I saw that in a pile going to Goodwill, I was like, no. We worked hard for this Toy
Right.
Story RV.
Like Arnold.
Doesn't that piss you off when you work so hard to get something for your kids and you have to get like the whole series of whatever it is, and the next thing you know, you turn around and there's a big pile of junk in your bedroom floor, and you're like, what the hell is this? Yeah, I don't want this in my room anymore. And you're like, really? Because it took me like 6 months to
lost
find all these
feelings.
things, but let's just throw them. I'm not throwing these away. Like I have everything in like every good thing like that. I have in like these huge like bins, because I'm like, I'm not getting rid of this. Like you guys are having kids and you guys are getting these things.
It's like I lost feeling in my
then-
legs trying to put this stupid castle together.
Yeah,
My
we
kid
worked too
was-
hard for this shit. Like
I
I'm
forgot
not
what
getting rid of it.
I don't know what the trend was, but he wanted something from some TV show that he's into now, maybe Bluey or whatever. And I was like, we're not getting you that. And he's like, well, why not? And I go, well, let's go find all your Paw Patrol crap that we bought you like a year ago that you're no longer into. Like, no, you're going to, as soon as these things arrive from Amazon, they're on to the next thing. I'm not doing it.
So
That's why you don't buy the hype, guys.
a little
I'm sorry.
earlier, I was talking about the scene that I like, and that's when the Rodney King thing happened. They show up at the Mall of America because they get a word that there's a shipment of Turbo Vans there, and everybody, they have this weird system where they're like, we're gonna give you a colored ball. And we're gonna do a weird lotto that way where we draw the ball, and you'll get a color and type of thing. So everybody's like, and we just doubled the price, It's like really wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Salesman. So everybody goes and tries to rush the people that have all the balls. So the people with the balls throw them in the air, and I just love it because the director captured this perfectly. All the balls are in the air. People are jumping for it in slow motion, and you hear, it's the most wonderful time of the and that's when they start beating the shit out of each other, and then it's like, and then like Arnold's on the ground, he sees that Sinbad's got two, he's like, he got two. And then they start beating the crap out of him, and that's when he goes why would you chase this ball down the stairs into a ball pit and actually dive after a little girl to get it, and they start beating him up.
I would have dived after that girl, and I would not let that person be like, oh, they're all banging him with pocketbooks and stuff like he's some child predator. I'd be like, no, she's got my ball, and you're gonna go get it right now. I worked hard to go get that ball. I'm not a child predator. Give me that yellow ball now. I'd be like that crazy mom. I would not leave without that ball. I'm sorry. I would be prying that ball out of that little kid's hands. I don't care.
You guys
She
should
ran around the
edit.
whole thing.
I would not.
You guys should edit the last minute and a half of conversation into a podcast that you do on a porn, because there were so many references of balls in the air that I feel like it would fit.
Oh my God.
And that's when you, by the way, we could edit what you said to balls that fit. So
Hey, now, we briefly meet a very shady Jim Belushi playing Santa Claus. And by the way, I do want to say, I've always wanted to say this, and in the last year or so, I think they should bring Jim Belushi out from, I don't know if he's retired or just whatever, bring him back out. He needs to play Mike Lindell.
sure, yeah, he'd be a good Mike Lindell.
So much alike.
The My Pillow guy. Yeah,
The who
I agree.
guy?
I know
My
it's
Pillow
probably like who?
The My Pillow guy.
Oh, the My Pillow. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
Jim Belushi
Mike? Yeah.
sound so much alike. The vocal tones are very close.
Yep. One's Minnesota. Mike Lindell's Minnesota, and he's northern Chicago, that area, so it fits. It fits. Absolutely.
And the voice is similar, so like just slap a mustache on him and
yeah. So there's a parade. I don't want to go much on the parade because it ties up the whole movie and all that stuff.
I want to go to that parade.
But no, I don't. So there's no Santa in it, and it's all about Turbo Man.
Killjoy.
So
Killjoy.
Fuck that. Nah, fuck that shit. So, my point here is that they put a man, and I know they made it as a joke, like Arnold Schwarzenegger magically makes it into a Turbo Man suit, and says, and it's funny when they say, the rehearsal didn't go well, but we think he's going to make it through. I mean, that part was pretty funny. I'll give you that. But the whole point is that Turbo Man doesn't exist, and that this suit that he's on is special. It's not. It's like a superhero suit. It's like fucking Iron Man. So this suit can't do. Like, if you could have Turbo Man technology, it wouldn't be a toy. It'd be a specialized weapon in the Army, or at least the Space Force. Like, this is a real thing. And like, it was too much of a leap for me. And secondly, guys, it didn't drive you crazy. It didn't drive you crazy.
Of
fuck that.
disbelief.
No, fuck that. It's stupid. So look, he's got guys.
I know.
He's got a
he
helmet.
swore like a million times already.
He's got a helmet on
the
with
line.
a visor you can see through that doesn't hide his face, and nobody recognized him until he takes the helmet off. And I'm like, this is bullshit. I don't like this at all. This is dumb, because that's dumb.
Did you like Superman? Did you like Superman?
That's dumb too.
How the hell can somebody not recognize the person after?
Melanie, there is no comparison to Jingle All the Way and Superman.
But what I'm saying is, like, okay, I get that, but Superman, come on. He's got his hair slicked back, and then he doesn't have his hair slicked back.
One is a classic DC comic, and they make fun of the fact in some Superman movies that how can you not tell that he's Superman?
Yeah.
This is Jingle All the Way. It is not a classic. It's not Superman. It's fucking Jingle All the Way.
You know what?
You cannot. That is nonsense.
No, I got something. Jingle All the Way has something over the Superman movie from 1970.
Oh boy. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yep.
We never saw Jake Lloyd's penis.
True, valid. That's good.
Did we see anybody's?
Yes, it's the beginning of Superman. You see the baby just coming out.
Melanie's like, did we see anybody's penis in Jingle All the Way? Did we see Arnold's penis? Please tell me we saw Arnold's
I
penis.
was like, what the hell is he talking about?
No, it's just at the beginning of. There's a whole thing about like on. There's something called honest trailers where they make fun of like the movie a little bit, like while they talk about the trailer, and they're like right at the end of it for the Superman one, they're like, was it really necessary to show baby Superman's bait and tackle?
True.
It's like the Nirvana. It's
right,
like
go
the
ahead.
Nirvana DVD there. The Nirvana.
You guys would be interested. This is you guys talk about. I'm not sure if I mentioned this previously, but you talk about this premise of this podcast is, do movies hold up? And Superman is the example. Like, I was so excited to show my kids Superman.
Sure.
And I showed the original Superman, and up until that point, I was like, I don't know why they make all these movies over and over again. They're in color. It makes no sense. There's no need to redo like Footloose. There's no need to redo Karate Kid. They're in color. And then I showed my kids Superman, and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? We're 10 minutes into the movie, and the credits are still rolling. Yep. You don't even see Superman for like an hour and a half. And at that point, I was like, okay, now I get it. Because now movies start, like, the credits are rolling while the action is going, and it's usually a chase scene to start it. So
That's good. Thanks to
that was the
TikTok.
movie. Yeah.
Thanks to TikTok, nobody has an attention span left.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so all right. Before we do TMI, I do have one last thing about. I talked to a friend of mine. I had him tell me what he seen years ago during the Cabbage Patch craze, because he worked at a store that I think was only in the Northeast, Caldor, back in the day. And so. And I'm just gonna paraphrase about what he was talking about, but like, everybody went nuts. Like, like they would open on Black Friday like the next morning. It wasn't like overnight. And there, like, how like registers could be like in different departments, or like you could buy stuff there. One guy had one of them. There was like 10 Cabbage Patch Kids. So like, picture everybody wanting one. One guy had one. He's heading towards his registers, and 2 different women saw that he had it, and they started grabbing his hair and kicking him in the nuts, and then they were beating the shit out of each other, right? Like in the process, and the box is all torn, right? Like,
nice.
And like some security guards that were trying to also rip them apart like from each other. And he says, also, when I was working at Walmart on Black Friday, there was a huge event at 5 a.m. People came in through the cart corrals and shoved carriages at people as to block them from getting into aisles ahead of them.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's pretty rough. Like,
I remember hearing some things like that over here. I remember it was at a Walmart, and the DVDs were on sale on Black Friday, and people were fighting and pushing each other on the ground, and then one old man got beat up for his parking space somewhere at the mall.
And that's why Jingle All the Way stinks. No, all right.
I would say it was beyond the Tickle Me Elmos and the Cabbage Patch and all the Turbo Mans is just, Black Friday itself, right? I'm sure Chris is going to agree with this, but it's put a piece of crap DVD on sale or DVD player for $10, and people go in there and they have to have it. They scratch and claw. Have you ever asked one of those people in the checkout, who's that for? Who did you buy that DVD player for? I have, because I've working in radio and done man on the street bits. I've asked these people. 9 out of 10 of them they have no idea why they bought it. They just bought it because it was on sale, and the rest of it will fall into place later. It's ridiculous.
Mind-numbed zombies. Yep.
I went for my wife, because my wife does it, for the most part every year until we got the flu this year. Yay. And that keeps everyone home.
You, right?
Right. Yeah. Thank you, flu. No, but I went when my wife was pregnant with my son. Because her mother was like, I don't want you out on Black Friday, I understand, it makes tons of sense. So I was like, sure, I'll go. Give me your list or whatever like that. I'd never seen anything now. It wasn't it wasn't the riot type thing that everybody talks about, because the one near me, the Walmart near me, has it set up nice, with the first off, the police are there, and then second, you got the they basically set it up in a theater line, not only does the line go to the back of the parking lot, but once you're in, you have to go straight, take a right, take a left, the common theater line, the bank line that George Carlin talked about,
right.
So you can't, and then they do 20 people at a time, so you can't get in that fast, so it's they don't, not everybody's beating the crap out of each other. But I'm walking around, and there is points where I'm lifting my cart straight up almost, just so people could get by, because I'm trying to be courteous. I'm yeah, it's all right. And I'm laughing the entire time, because I was I've never seen anything like this. This is nuts, right? The whole time. But here's the problem: what they would do. So they would do good things, smart things, by not keeping everything in the one spot, because they would be stupid to keep every sale of electronics in electronics, because the place would be swarmed. So they have it in foods. They have it if you want an iPad, you go to foods. If you want the Xbox, you go to toys, or in clothes. They put it in weird spots to keep everybody separate. But the weird thing is that they have big sales in a bin in the middle of the aisle that takes up a lot of room, so you can barely get by. Stupid shit like yarn.
Yeah. Nice.
In case you want to do all your Black Friday knitting. No, you don't put that in the middle of the aisle. You don't make that a Black Friday sale.
No,
I don't care how much knitting you do.
Too, Jay.
Jesus. You don't make that a hot item in the middle of the aisle to block everybody. I was
you said that
I can barely get by the yarn.
When you said that, you were I've literally pulled my cart up like this. I thought for sure you were going to say, to get over the bodies.
The bodies hit the floor.
All right, here we go. We got TMI, man.
It's time for TMI with Melanie.
Listen to this. I am in the bathroom right before the movie starts. And I'm in the stall, and there's no toilet paper.
And mine are at home in a display case above my bed.
TMI, my friends.
It's just
TMI?
TMI?
Too much information.
Say don't go there, but that's lame.
Now, here's Melanie with your timeless movie info.
All right, Melanie. Let us
It's a
have it
new
like Turbo
feature,
Man.
guys.
I know,
I'm,
right?
I'm excited.
I only have a few things. We talked about some of these things during the we were doing the podcast. So I have a couple of different things. So Robin Williams, Chevy Chase, Bill Murray, and Steve Martin were all considered for Howard, and Tim Allen was considered for the role of Myron before Sinbad was cast. The budget was $75 million. The box office was $129.8 million. The set for Ted's house was repurposed set from the Bradford home from the TV series 8 is Enough.
Wow.
Arnold Schwarzenegger and Phil Hartman were real contestants back in the day on the dating game.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. When you were talking about, like, you saw them, so I was thinking that's maybe where you saw them. The two actors from The Simpsons appear in this film, Phil Hartman, which is Troy McClure, and Lisa Simpson, who's Yardley Smith. She's the lady with the fur jacket and the Simpsons character of Rainier Wolfcastle and the parody of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Let's see. And the scene where Howard is getting a ride to his house in the tow truck, the driver who tells him to show little emotion in his story is the actress who played the wrong Sarah Connor in The Terminator of 1984.
Oh, all right.
Turbo Man's red suit was modeled for DC Comics superhero The Flash. It says Minneapolis does have a winter parade every year during Christmas season, but it's usually held in the evening, not during the day. And due to safety concerns, the parade was filmed at Universal Studios in Hollywood. And they made that almost like they did with the Ghostbusters. Like they made this whole city, whole fake city to do the thing. Yeah, they shot it from helicopters and had matte paintings in the back and all that. They had 1,500 extras being used in the scene along with 3 custom design floats. Arnold Schwarzenegger was paid $20 million for his role. There goes half the budget.
Yep.
I mean, the whole budget for the movie is only $75 million, and he took up 20.
Only?
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Only,
a lot.
yeah.
But yeah, I know.
Sorry.
Like, I just feel like he took a lot of that.
Throwing that
Tyler
around.
Perry could have made that movie for $10 in 5 minutes.
That's true.
Yeah, and he didn't need to close down because he had all of his studios up during COVID. Remember?
Right.
That's right.
All right.
All right.
So, in March 2001, 20th Century Fox was actually sued because they said that the script of this movie was taken by a biology teacher, Brian Webster, and he was ordered to pay. This whole studio was ordered to pay $19 million, and it was later reduced to $1.5 million. And later on, he ended up getting nothing because they said that, I guess, the script that came out was before or after they had already tried to make. I don't know. They got out of it somehow, but the biology teacher says it was his film.
Sure, prove it.
Basically, yeah.
Prove
Arnold
it.
Schwarzenegger enjoyed that he experienced last-minute Christmas shopping himself, and he was attracted to playing this role because he wanted to play an ordinary character, like an ordinary guy.
That he
Sinbad. Sinbad improvised the majority of all of his lines. Arnold Schwarzenegger also improvised some of his responses in his conversations with him. And then we already talked about it coming from the Cabbage Patch Kids and Morphin Power Rangers, and then the producer experienced the same kind of things trying to get toys around that time, so that's why he came out with the thing. The world premiere was held on November 16th, 1996 at the Mall of America in Bloomington, where parts of the film was shot. A day of events was held to celebrate the film's release, and Arnold Schwarzenegger donated memorabilia from the film to the mall's Planet Hollywood. That's it.
Cool.
Wow, that's
Awesome.
interesting.
Very good stuff. I can dig it. Awesome.
It's time now for final judgment. Are you ready to rubber stamp this bitch? Here's the final judgment.
All right, up until this point, it has been about Chris's opinion.
No.
And the negative thing that it is. But right now we're going to talk about fact and see how well this movie holds up today. And we're going to start with...
I have to say, since you're picking on Chris so much, I love Chris, and I can't picture the show without him. And he continues the show and floats it so good for us. So
Well, thanks.
we gotta argue with somebody, right, Jay? We have to argue with him.
So look, let's look. Can I go
yeah.
final judgment real quick?
Mr.
Because I think all right. So look, here's the. I know. Here's the thing. I think my problem is I don't think it holds up, and I don't think it holds up because I just don't know. I don't think this is what people are going for in holiday movies anymore. I think they're going more for Elf. I think they're going more for the magic of Christmas. I don't think they want to see about like the goofiness of people trampling each other for toys anymore. I think that's out of phase. I think that fad is gone. Like that was kind of a running joke for a while, but I think, like I said, look at the monstrosity that Elf became. Look at what like all those even the Santa Claus movie with Kurt Russell, or even the unfortunate Santa Claus remakes with Tim Allen. I think they're going more for the magic than this thing. There's no magic in this movie necessarily. And I'll just get off. I know I kind of didn't get to say how much I didn't like this movie. And I think it's not that I am soulless and have a black heart. I don't. It's just that it just rubbed me the wrong way from the start. And the reason it did is because the opening scene seems like a Power Rangers episode. And it just makes me feel, I don't want to hear it. And I just don't want to hear it. I didn't like it from the start. And I just don't. For me, a Christmas movie, it doesn't have to be about Santa. It doesn't have to be about magical. But to me, the redemption story of it, of Arnold proving he's a good dad and getting the love of his son, I just don't. It just wasn't. I wasn't feeling it. I don't think it was deep enough for me. That's all. Like I don't think it's Christmassy enough. Elf, I can dig Elf. Like I said, the Kurt Russell Santa Claus movie. Goddamn, It's a Wonderful Life, obviously. Perfect. But I mean, I don't know, man. It just didn't sing to me at all. It just seemed like, I don't know, they tried to make a comedy and Schwarzenegger just wasn't funny enough. Sinbad was great, but other than that, so I'll get off my high horse and I'll throw it down to Tad.
Well, I actually loved this movie.
Fair enough.
I thought it had it all. I think you brought up Elf, which is I thought of Elf because Elf is also about a father who's like neglectful dad and busy at work and all of that. I thought of Toy Story. This could have been the Buzz Lightyear movie. I freaking howled with delight through. I think it's because I was watching it with my kid, and I just how ridiculous a movie. I was like, I at one point said, this is like a cartoon. It's like a live action cartoon. Because, I mean, you talked about the budget, Melanie. 99% of that, whatever wasn't thrown toward Schwarzenegger must have been thrown toward getting that last scene where suddenly Turbo Man is flying through the air. And it just, I mean, I laughed. I was like, couldn't breathe laughing. I don't know why. It could have been my mood, whatever it was. But it had some great running gags. I love the Ted character. I just thought it was great. And I think, yes, Cyber Monday has kind of taken a chunk out of the delightful mayhem that was Black Friday back in the day. But, and shame on you, Cyber Monday, for doing that. What a load of crap. I want to see people clawing at each other. It's very American.
He loves chaos.
So, I mean... I'll say, you know, besides, and I know you guys sort of have some rules in terms of like the micro stuff, like the Rodney King references probably wouldn't fly. Reindeer drinking beer from a bowl probably wouldn't fly now. Some other things probably were just kind of dated and not very woke. But I thought it far surpassed its like 21% rotten grade that I saw it had. So I enjoyed it, and because it was just a fun, stupid movie, you know. So I appreciate you guys making me watch it.
No problem, man. Hey, I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, man.
I'm glad you liked it.
Oh, it's very. You know what? That's very mature of you, Chris.
No, I mean it seriously. I almost wanted it to sink in more, and it just didn't. And I don't know why. I
it's
can't really put my
it's
finger
probably
on
the fact
it.
that
It
you
just didn't
watch
do it for
like,
me at
like
all.
half at school and half at the other half of school.
Well, that's all I had time for, but it's all right.
Yeah, I mean,
Jay, what
you
about
need
you?
an
What?
amount of
Sit home with a glass of wine. That's what you
know, I
needed to do.
Oh, probably. Oh man. All right.
I was going to
Jay,
ask,
what's up?
is Arnold Schwarzenegger ever won an Oscar?
No.
No, of course he hasn't. And he would only win one if it was like a Lifetime Achievement Award, just because
Maybe.
he's been in so many movies over his career. But yeah, I'm
Yeah,
like,
not a lot of
you
House for
watch a
Plague.
movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad. I mean, what do you want? It surpassed my expectations.
I struggle when I love a movie to like decide whether it holds up or not sometimes because I like it so much. Like so, I love it because it just makes me laugh. It warms me up. Like this movie, it's a lot of it that makes me smile. Like it's like I said, even the gross Phil Hartman stuff makes me laugh. It's just cool. Like so it's hard for me sometimes to decide how well it holds up. Because it's like am I being biased towards the fact that I like it so much? You know what I mean? Like but I mean I would say so let's say maybe not as far as holding up because of the fact that Black Friday doesn't quite have, even though this movie is on Christmas Eve, not Black Friday, but the gist of the craziness of today's Black Friday echoes what that was then, as far as and Black Friday kind of still does exist. I don't know, maybe COVID threw that into a bigger problem, so everybody had to resort to shopping online instead of going out, so they had to do a lot more different places are starting their Black Friday sales early, online, so so I don't know how well today's people younger people will relate to this movie because it's like what I just click a mouse and everything's there and stuff like that. So I'm gonna say no as far as holding up, but I still love it, and I think obviously some people like Tad liked it.
All right, so I'll just say, like I said, I don't remember really watching this when it came out whatsoever. I feel like it's like a newer movie to me, which is weird. But I will say that I do laugh when I'm watching it. I enjoy watching it. Yes, it's majorly flawed and there's a lot of stuff going on with it, but I do enjoy it. I will tell you that I have nightmares constantly to this day, and it's all the time, that it's Christmas Eve or it's Christmas and I literally have forgotten to get everybody gifts. And I am freaking out. And I'm like, oh my God, what is open on Christmas Eve? I have to go. So I think it's just like when your kids are little and you're running out trying to get things like this, it's always in the back of your head that, I don't know, I still have nightmares about it. So, and I even Chloe, she wants one thing for Christmas this year, and I had the hardest time trying to find it. I think I can relate to what's going on. I've personally never been out on Black Friday. I've never done that to myself. But I still have hard times finding things, and I was around with the Cabbage Patch stuff, and I remember my family trying to get one for me, and I remember me trying to get the stupid Took-a-Me Elmo for my kids. So, I mean, I get that. I feel like parents relate, especially women, for sure, relate to that. And it's played every single year, along with all the other Christmas movies. So I'm going to say it holds up because it's played every year with all the other Christmas movies.
Super. All right.
Well, that was our show. I'd like to thank Tad Lemire for joining us today. Tell us once again where we can find you, my man.
I'll let Melanie do that.
Nice. Yeah.
You suck. You can find him on Facebook. You can find him on Facebook, you can find him on Instagram, and you can find him on the radio every morning until like 8:30, but he's never on, so.
What station?
Is it 98.5?
8:30.
Oh my God. After last time, and we had this whole big thing.
Yep.
I have it. You can ask Jay. I swear to God, I follow it.
No, you are an absolute joy. I enjoy.
I swear to God, I'm following you. I can find you right now on my Facebook.
Oh, I'm not on now.
Yep.
Yes, but you're on the podcast and you're also on my
funny.
Facebook.
Thanks, guys, for having me on. This was a lot of fun. It
I love
always
you,
is. We just
Love
had the
having you, man.
most like critical, deep conversation about this movie. I think that's wonderful.
Yes. Well, thank you, Ted. We appreciate that you were able to come on the show. That's fantastic. Even though Melanie doesn't remember where you work. So, Jason.
You know
I
what?
live in
And
the
you work at the lawn place, right, with the wine. I remember.
Well, why don't you come visit me? I'll give you a free hydrofacial.
And a bottle of wine,
Yeah.
so I can get angry like Chris.
Doesn't take much. Doesn't take much. No.
Lost from my estimation.
I'm laid back. I'm pretty chill. I just get
I
up.
wasn't right. I wasn't right on that.
You were right.
I was right.
All right. Well, let's. Well, thank you once again, my man, and I'd like to thank Steve Lavoie for our intro and Draco and the Malfoys for our theme music. Please like this video, rate and review, and please subscribe. Tell your friends all about us. And I am Jay Fortier, along with Chris Martineau and Melanie Harlington. I'd like to thank you again for joining us on the Film Crickets. Until next time, movies may not age like fine wine, but we drink it anyway. Bye.
See ya.
Cricket, chirp about movies.